Greetings, greenhouse people. I'm your host, Bill Calkins, and in an effort to provide this information in any way folks want to consume it, we are going to offer this in video and podcast formats. If you're a regular listener or viewer, you probably remember that about a year ago, JC and I sat down here at Cultivate and chatted about fungicides, herbicides, and crop protection. And it was a great conversation, but we're back, Cultivate 2025. Right. JC, I'm excited to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, traveling a lot just to do a lot of research and tech support for different growers.
Okay.
You know, on things like thrips, mites, and PGR, quite a bit of it.
Awesome. And that's actually our topic for today, which is PGRs, plant growth regulators. I'm really excited about that topic, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. But first, I want to go through JC's bio real quick, because it is impressive and it's actually kind of interesting. JC is the Technical Development Manager at SePRO, but that follows an extensive academic career at Clemson University. Was that the only university you were at, or were you at others?
I was at the other universities. I did my graduate school in Georgia, University of Georgia, and then my postdoc, University of Florida.
Okay, so and then the
a couple, and before that, my bachelor's degree was in University of Arizona. So I've been hopping around. And if you notice anything, they're all in the South.
Right.
I hate cold weather. I'm not going to go anywhere north. I'm sorry.
I like it. I like it. We were just talking about maybe a vacation up north, but when it's a little bit warmer. How long were you at Clemson?
I was at Clemson for 16 years.
Okay.
Yep, as the turf and ornamental entomologist.
So bug guy.
Bug guy. Research, extension.
Excellent, excellent. And, JC's also the editor of our PestTalks newsletter at GrowerTalks. And how you've been doing that for a while now.
Yeah, I've been doing that, I would say, 8 years?
8 years,
yeah. It's been a while.
It has. And if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to the PestTalks newsletter. It's excellent.
Well, try to make it funny anyway.
Well, that's true. It is. It's funny, but definitely serious as well, because the topics are serious, but that's kind of why these podcasts are fun, because you do it in a more interesting and lighter way, even though we are talking about sort of heavier subjects.
Well, and also it's fun for me to write it too. You just kind of make it light.
That's true. That's true. And I steal from it in the Tech on Demand newsletter quite a bit. So our topic today is PGRs, plant growth regulators, for greenhouse and nursery producers, mostly greenhouse we're going to be talking about. Can you start maybe with an overview of why plant growth regulators are necessary in greenhouse production, what they do? I'm going to leave this wide open. Plant growth regulators is a topic that I think we see a lot in research, but not necessarily in grower articles. I mean, they're kind of a necessary thing.
Sure.
But I'm kind of interested in the background. Why are plant growth regulators necessary? What do they do?
Sure. Well, I think we can start from the very beginning.
Okay.
Think about your plant physiology classes, right, in college. Back then, one of the lessons basically is that just like human, every processes in the growth, development, reproduction of the plant are controlled by phytohormone. Okay. Basically a hormone produced by plant.
Right.
And a lot of these have very specific functions. For example, auxin are basically involved in cell enlargement and bud formation, so they're very essential to growth.
Right.
But on the other end, you have gibberellins, which also increase stem elongation, so it's involved in growth itself as well. But when you get to other things like ethylene, they are more on the tail ends of the life cycle.
Right.
So they produce, they involve with fruit ripening, senescence, and sort of end of the life processes.
Right.
So for a plant, it's always some sort of phytohormone or some kind of chemical that's involved in the process. So what we do with plant growth regulators is to produce these plant growth regulators, apply them to the plant, and sort of manipulate that normal growth process.
Okay.
So what we could use for plant growth regulators, basically, for example, gibberellin would involve in stem elongation. But gibberellic acid inhibitor, as the name is implied, is basically inhibiting gibberellin.
Okay.
So instead of allowing the plants to stretch their stem, if you apply a GA inhibitor, that stretching is not happening.
Okay.
So you ended up having a much shorter stem.
Yeah.
And for the floricultural industry, in some way, that is pretty important because you can just produce the plant of the size that you want.
Right.
If it's some variety that's really stretchy, you apply a GA inhibitor, and they'll keep the size
More compact.
much more compact. And that way, you can actually pack a lot more plants into a shelf and for shipping and all that stuff. And if you ended up having a plant that is really not as bushy as you want, you can apply another plant growth regulators to promote branching.
Right. Because
And then
that's
you
what
got
I
a
always
much
hear
fuller
is
plants.
you keep them compact but branching.
Yeah.
And that's really what you want with
That's
most
really what
ornamentals,
we want.
with most annuals.
Exactly.
Okay.
You don't want a plant to have like 2 sticks sticking up.
Right.
You're not selling that.
Nope, absolutely not. That makes sense. That's a really good description. I think it can. we talk a lot about plant growth regulators and the science behind it, but it's really about the visual impact that plant makes at retail.
Right.
Blooms, compact, bushy, ready.
A
to
lot
go.
of that is that visual, perfect size and perfect shape.
Excellent. And when we planned this discussion, one of the products that I know we talked about and that you wanted to discuss is Topflor, because it's a PGR from SePRO. How long has it been on the market?
Good question. It's way before my time.
Okay, so it's been on the market a while.
It's been in the market for a while.
folks
So I would say probably
have heard
about
of it.
20 years.
Okay, but it's a PGR with benefits that maybe are different than other PGRs on the market I guess they might be different by case and crop, but what can you tell us about Topflor from a chemistry perspective? And then we can talk about the benefits, but I'm interested in the chemistry of Topflor.
Sure. So Topflor is a GA inhibitor, gibberellic acid inhibitor. So
Okay.
as we mentioned earlier, that basically helps reduce cell elongation. So you have a shorter stem and smaller leaves, slightly smaller leaf, but there's also a few added benefit to it. So what they would do is, as you have shorter plants, your plants are also sturdier.
Right.
So you break a lot less
Yeah.
when you're shipping it. One benefit of Topflor or gibberellic acid inhibitor is that it works on the stem and the leaves themselves, not on the meristem.
Oh.
So the meristem is where all the growth happens.
Right.
So if you actually affect the meristem, you might cause other effects such as delayed flowering, flower bud abortion, and things like that.
Yeah.
And so with the use of Topflor, you're not going to have to worry about that sort of issues. And another good thing about Topflor is that it is absorbed just about by all the plant tissue.
Okay.
It is much more absorbable by the roots, but it can also be absorbed by the stem, by the leaves. So it kind of gives you a lot of flexibility as far as how you want to apply it.
Right, because you can drench, but you can also go over the top of it.
Bingo. So you can drench, you can spray over the top, you can sprench it, you can dip the liners in it, or you
Okay.
can soak the bulb in it, and you can just water on the top and then irrigate down, like water it in. So that's the application method is endless, very, very flexible as well.
Which I know growers appreciate.
Absolutely.
Because you might not have the ability to do one, or the timing might be
Correct.
different.
Correct.
The dip is something I'm interested in. How many growers that you work with use it as a dip? And now
Some
you're
of the
dipping a
growers,
liner, right?
some of the growers we did well. A lot of dip are actually done for bulb
Bulbs, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it's the lily or tulips and things like that.
Okay.
So they do the soak or the dip a lot more than everybody else, but
Okay.
it is definitely usable for liners. And we have growers that would actually apply to the flats or the plugs.
Oh, dip the whole.
Well, just spray over the top or dip it, either way. But one of the customer that we talked to yesterday, right here at this booth, is they have the issue of a mixed bulb. When you put petunia of different variety in there, of course you got different color, but
you're
they
also at
also
different
different
habits.
speed. Yes, absolutely. So they're like, well, what can we do about that?
Right.
So I say, well, what about you do a spray on your flats for the plugs, on the top for the more aggressive variety.
Yeah.
Just slow them down
Right.
at the first 2 weeks so that your less vigorous variety will catch up a little bit. And then when the more vigorous variety breaks out from that control, they can catch up as well. So you ended up having a bowl that seems to have very similar
Right.
growth
So you're
habit.
able to balance it out by
Absolutely.
treating the plug.
Yes.
That makes sense.
That is, I think that is one way for mixed bowl basket to actually do it. Otherwise, if you apply it to the entire bowl, not only do you control the more aggressive variety, you're also controlling the one that is
Like
kind of
compact.
slow. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
In which then you end up with that one plant takes over. It doesn't have that balanced
Right.
look.
No,
And
it
it's the
then-
one that's going to be hanging 3 weeks later when all the rest have sold. Which is something we want to
Well,
avoid.
We want to avoid that. I mean, not just time in
Right.
selling them, but also the cost of keeping them
Exactly.
around.
Exactly. And they don't get better hanging in a greenhouse usually.
Absolutely. They probably get worse for sure.
You mentioned petunias, you mentioned some of the bulb crops, but I want to kind of zoom out here. Are there other greenhouse crops that you can think of, or that when you work with growers that absolutely require PGRs? And on the flip side, are there crops that you really want to avoid applying PGRs to?
Well, I think PGR is applicable to just about any plant species
Okay.
you want to control. But there are some obvious groups that PGR probably doesn't need it.
Okay.
Things like dwarf genetics.
Right, that's true.
Since they're already
They've
dwarf
been
in
bred
genetics.
for the
Absolutely.
compactness.
That's not a whole lot of reason to actually use it on them. And also the slower growing variety.
Right.
You probably don't need to do any of that.
Yeah.
If anything, some of the variety probably need another kind of PGR just to push them
Right,
a little
exactly.
bit, right? And the branching PGR, obviously, you can use those on this slower variety also to make them bushier
Right.
if you need to.
Okay.
So, that's what I'm saying. You could probably use just PGR on just about any plant
Any
species.
plant. And then I'm thinking regionally, and I know obviously I work for a breeding company that we work on genetics to keep them more compact for growers in the south, and then sometimes northern growers it's too compact for them. Do you
Right.
see plant growth regulators used more often on different species in different regions? That might be a silly question, but
No, it's not silly. I think we definitely see that. And in the northern region, for some of the plant variety, you ended up not using or needing PGR
Right.
at all
Okay.
because you can manipulate your irrigation and your fertilization. You can achieve about the same result.
okay.
As
So
what you would do with
environmentally, you
PGR.
can keep that.
Correct.
That.
And in the south, because of the temperature, because of the light level, the plant do stretch
Right.
and grow a lot faster, and that's where PGR is much
Okay.
more usable.
All right, good. I'm glad it wasn't too silly of a question.
No.
Now that we have an idea of some of the key crops, let's jump back into Topflor specifically. What have you seen when Topflor applications are made? I guess visually, we've talked a little bit about what the goals are, and I'm sure you guys have done a ton of trials. That's
Sure.
one of the things we know SePRO's really, really good about. What have you seen visually when you walk crops or talk to growers about using Topflor?
Sure. And one of the most striking features, well, two, that you know that somebody's using Topflor, first of all, is going to be the tone of the foliage.
Okay.
The one that's applied by Topflor, typically the tone is greener, deeper color.
Darker,
So
deeper
get you a
greens.
much better looking crop. The reason why is simply that Topflor basically slow down cell elongation, so your cell is a lot smaller.
Okay.
Let's just say your original cell is that long and it has 100 chloroplasts in there.
Right.
But if you shrink that cell down to that much, you're basically compacting all that 100 chloroplasts into a smaller cell.
Okay.
And so your that cell is a lot greener than the elongated one. So
Right.
that's
Makes
why
sense.
you just kind of have a much better tone plant.
Okay.
For sure. And another feature benefit of Topflor is basically that it doesn't delay bloom.
Okay.
and it doesn't reduce bloom, which is very important for floriculture. And that very much is what we're seeing compared to some of the product, for example, bonsai or sumagic or things like that. For some of the plant species, they may cause a little bit delay in flowering, but with that, with Topflor, we never really seen that.
Okay.
And another visual thing is basically that, for example, some of the mom crop, we have done a lot of research as far as what rate you want to use on different kind of crops.
Sure.
And what we are seeing is that the dose response is very, very predictable with Topflor.
Okay.
Meaning that, let's just say I apply 30 ppm to a mom. And then I apply another one at 10 ppm to a mom. They are going to be visually very strikingly different.
Right.
But a grower can just look at that and say, I like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Let's go
So
20.
they can actually cut it down to 20 and still get that response.
Okay.
So it's a very, very predictable response to all the doses and whatnot.
Which growers like, because then you can program it.
They
Then
can
you say,
program
boom.
it, they can customize it. And think about what we talked about earlier, which is with the flexibility in application timing. Now we have flexibility in application rates as well. They can just choose and pick and choose what they want to do.
You get very targeted and
Very targeted for different variety, how aggressive they are,
right.
how much light level you have, how much stretch you have.
Yeah.
And the timing wise is whenever you got stretch, go at it.
Yeah. Because you do hear that a lot is, with some chemistries or with some PGRs on some species is don't apply late in the growing cycle because it'll
lock it up.
Lock it up, delay the blooms, and that's what you really don't want. Talked a little bit about methods and rates, and I know every case is different. What are some of the volumes or ppms that you use for, pick a couple different common crops, and maybe just how would you advise growers?
Sure. And, we have a lot of questions from folks about Easter lily.
Okay.
I mean, folks do still grow Easter lily.
Absolutely. I mean, you always see Easter lilies.
Right. And the problem with Easter lily production is, depending on variety, some of them can be very uneven, not very uniform.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them could be really stretchy. So there's all different characteristic to it. And typically what I would recommend is, think about drenching with Topflor at about 3 ppm.
Okay.
And that's very easy to do and very cheap.
Say that's
Put it on.
low rate.
Yeah, it's very, very low rate. So you just put it on and all your crop is going to be very, very even, very, very uniform. And and again, it doesn't delay bloom.
Right.
So when Easter rolls around, you got perfect crops.
That's true. You don't want to miss Easter bloom by a week.
No, you don't. And like I say, we did a lot of study with that as well. And poinsettia season is here, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
So one of the best programs that we have with poinsettia is basically that you still remember people using B9 cycocell.
For sure.
People still using
It's still
B9.
recommended in some places, for sure.
Absolutely. So my argument very much is, you can really replace that with just Topflor.
Okay.
B9 cycocell, you can apply it basically up to black coloring.
Right. And then you got to stop.
You got to stop. And then what happened if you got a warm day?
Yeah.
After that, yes,
growing.
absolutely. So you need something else for that. So what I would argue is that start from the beginning with Topflor. All right. Just do drenches of Topflor either one time or twice. One time with 0.2 ppm.
Okay.
Or 2 times, however you want to do it, with 0.1 ppm. Same amount, no extra.
Right.
And then just basically 2 drenches, 1 drenches at the beginning. After pinch, that would give you a pretty nice, good control until up to bracts formation.
Okay.
After that, Topflor doesn't stop bracts coloring or anything at all.
Right. So you can come.
You can come in later with a higher rate, for example, 1 ppm, just to lock in that final shape.
Yeah.
And you got a beautiful plant going out the door.
Leave it and ship it.
Leave it and ship it.
Sell.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. And poinsettias is definitely one of the crops that usually require PGRs, but there is danger with some of the other.
Yeah, and also for the drenches, the rate that I told you about is like 0.1 ppm or
Yeah.
0.2 ppm.
Yeah. Very low.
Very low. And for Topflor, all you need to make 1 ppm is about 1 milliliter per gallon of water.
Okay.
So that is a significant, very, very small amount of water.
Right.
So compared to, say, B9 Cycocel, where you probably have to say spray 5 or 6 times, you only need to drench 3 times.
You're saving money, you're saving labor, and
Absolutely.
you're getting a better,
Absolutely.
just a better approach to
Absolutely.
growth regulator.
And a lot of growers are doing that program, and they're perfectly happy.
Okay.
And it can be applied to just about any variety of poinsettia. The more aggressive one, stay on the high rate, or if you are in the southern location, stay on the higher rate. And the lower, the less vigorous one,
Yeah.
on the low rate, or if you're in the north, lower rate. So it's very customizable.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a crop that's all about the visual appearance at retail.
Absolutely.
That's what sells.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Are there any other benefits you want to share that you've seen from Topflor in the greenhouse? I'm interested as the REI or requirement of wetting agents or anything like that.
So the REI is only about 12 hours.
Okay.
So that's pretty short.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We don't need any wetting agent with Topflor.
Okay.
Because it's so absorbable by all the plant tissue. You don't
good.
need it.
Yeah.
And I often say that when you do spray a little bit heavier because there's going to be a little bit runoff to the root zone.
Sure.
To help you take it up as well. So you're not wasting anything, really.
Right, because it still goes in.
Absolutely.
To the roots.
It's not like you go to the ground and that was it, done.
Right.
The root can still take it up.
Okay.
So I mentioned earlier that because it got shorter stem, it's sturdier. Shipping is better. So that's one way. And then also, we also notice, not so much in floriculture, but I think it's applicable to floriculture. But in perennial production, what we're seeing a lot is, same idea is as the cell condense or shorten, they also toughen up.
Okay.
So what happens is that it can actually provide some resistance to foliar diseases
Right.
because of the cell is tougher. And think about it, the plant continue to synthesizing and produce a lot of photosynthate. All that nutrients, all that resource, if they are not stretching,
Yeah.
they have to go somewhere.
Right.
They go to the leaf, make them strong. They go to the stem, make them strong.
Yep.
They go to the root, make the root strong.
So it's actually helping the hardiness of the perennial.
Absolutely. So with that root system getting stronger, you got better water retention, you got better plants.
Yeah.
Leaves got stronger, you got better disease resistance.
Sure.
So that's a lot of benefit.
Even for perennial growers that are overwintering their crops, I would think that's going to help just
It would definitely
reduce
do
shrink
so.
of loss
Absolutely.
when they wake up.
Absolutely.
This has been good. This has really, really been good because you can always take something complex and make it. If I can understand it, a grower can understand it. I always think that way. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, but I'm not a grower. And the team at SePRO's always great with obviously the research and the development of the products, but also the resources for growers. I know there is a rate chart, and you've talked about how
Yes.
you guys have done a lot of research to dial in the rates to help first-time users or folks that have used Topflor before and just need a little bit of reassurance. Can you talk about that and then where folks can find resources online?
Sure. We have a rate chart for Topflor and ARES, which is another plant growth regulators SePRO offer.
Yep.
That particular rate chart covers about 75 genera.
Okay.
So it's quite a few. And it has rate for starting rate, testing rate for, say, drenching and spraying and soaking and all different kind of application methods.
Okay.
So it is a pretty comprehensive document to help folks getting started.
Right.
So folks can get that online
Okay.
at SePRO.com, PGR match.
Okay.
So that's easy to do.
Right.
Or they can just type in Google SePRO PGR.
Okay.
It will be the first thing that come up.
Perfect. I'll put a
Easy
link
enough.
to that in the show notes
Yes.
to make it one click away
Sure.
as well. You mentioned AREST. What is the difference between Topflor and AREST?
Well, Topflor and ARES, they're actually in the same PGR class.
Okay.
But we kind of look at them a little bit differently. ARES do have a shorter residual.
Okay.
So I typically recommend ARES for plug production.
Sure.
so that you apply it, the plugs stay, compact, nice and small,
Then they
and nice
grow.
tones. You transplant it, it doesn't last so long that you lock in things up.
Right.
You just kind of come out of it pretty quickly.
So
and grow.
there's definitely a place for both.
It's
depending on
definitely
the
for
use.
both. Well, it's not that you cannot use Topflor for plugs.
Right.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to take a little bit longer to break out of it. But ARES is definitely another thing for plugs production.
Sure.
That's where we
Another
focus
tool
on.
in the toolbox.
Absolutely,
That's
and
what we're looking for.
ARES very much is the go-to PGR for pansy production.
Right. Okay.
So
Good. Well, and there's still a lot of pansies grown. Sometimes I struggle finding them up in Cleveland in the fall, but you can still find them.
oh, yeah, there's
It's
still
obviously
there's
a
still
huge crop,
plenty of
certainly
those.
down south. My goodness. All right, let's close this out. One final question. What is one thing growers using or considering Topflor should know about using the product in the programs? I'm going to nail you down to one thing growers should know.
So the one thing I would say about Topflor in a growing program is it is flexible.
Mm-hmm.
It is easy to do,
Okay.
and it can be one PGR that help you simplify your entire process. Because that's one PGR that can do a lot of things. You don't need to keep 15 different PGRs on your shelf.
Right.
One can probably do everything.
Simpler the better,
Simpler the better.
and cost effective, and reducing
Absolutely.
labor and confusion, and
Absolutely.
getting the results you want.
Absolutely. You don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to apply PGR A on this one or
Right.
PGR B on that one? And then, I mean, if you're me, I got confused pretty quick. So if I can just one thing to work with, it's much better.
Excellent. Excellent. A single solution. I think that everybody appreciates that. JC, thank you so much.
Joe,
My
thanks
friend,
for coming over.
I appreciate it. I know our listeners are going to take a lot away from this episode. I can't wait to catch up again. I'm sure we can find more topics to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, make sure you subscribe to JC's PestTalks newsletter. It comes very frequently, every couple weeks, right?
Every couple of weeks.
And always timely and relevant with great information, and sometimes mystery pests to identify
Hey,
and make sure that you get
That's the
them right.
fun part of writing that newsletter.
For sure, for sure. All right, we better get the mics and cameras out of the booth because people are going to start hitting the floor here very soon. Final day of Cultivate 2025.
Absolutely.
Thank you again so much. Safe travels
Thanks
home.
for Bill.
And I'm Bill Calkins with Tech on Demand, and on behalf of our entire team at Ball Publishing and the fantastic team at SePRO, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and take care.